you're going to
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Authentic Racing E-Series. My name is Olaf, aka Bob's Racing, and I'm joined here by Peter Cornelius, our lovely race director and broadcaster, to help us show you the pictures of today's event. Now, a little side note, because as I said, welcome back, but we are counting this as round number 1. Last week out in Portugal at Portimao, and a few server issues. Some drivers were not really happy with the way things were going, so we are counting that race as a drop round to basically show us that we can do some proper racing. We can give the drivers a proper chance of racing, and we'll count that race as a little warm up race. So that means that today we have round 1, and we are posted here in Italy at the Vallelunga track, where we can see the drivers already doing their final laps around this track, trying to prepare for the race. 2 races today, 25 minutes into 25 minutes, with a top 10 reverse grid all ready for you to enjoy for today. Now, we know that Formula One is going at the moment, so we might see some people joining in later. I'll have a little talk prepared for that as well after the race ends, if we do have people joining in later. But for those already here, thank you so much for joining us already at the start of the race. We'll be having round 1 of the 2023 WTCRs here at Authentic Racing E-Series. Now, last week we got a little preview. Let's just put it like that. There were a few races that we had, 2 of them, and we saw one driver on the podium twice. That was Les Bradford, who's currently sat in 3rd place on the standings. This is the end of qualifying, and we should have our grid then ready for race number 1. And Bradford took the podium twice. We had Lyle on the win, a dominant win in race number 1. Very sad about his incident in race 2, where he got dropped all the way to the end and then ended up not scoring any points at all. And we had a few other podiums, but most importantly, a lot of battles all throughout the grid, and that is something that I'm expecting to see again today. Vallelunga, not a track that I'm very comfortable with, not a track that I see a lot of racing on, so I'm very excited to have some pictures here as we go on. We're just entering one of the slower sections of the track with Johnson on board. You can see him go through the slower section right now. It's the left-hander coming up to the right-hander, where we enter a sort of an arena section. As you can see on the top right-hand side of your screen, a little bit deep there for Johnson, who's currently sat in P2. But he will be able to recover from that in the final few corners. This is where we're going to see a lot of overtaking, a lot of side-by-side battling, like we saw in the slow sections of Portimao as well. Here's the pit lane at the end of that section on the right-hand side. Then you make 180 degrees turn onto the straight. That's where you have your pit exit as well. Everyone peeling in now because it is the end of the session. The timer is red, the checkered flag is off, and that means that we are almost a go for race number 1. That's 25 minutes plus 1 lap. So that means when the checkered flag is out and the first driver has crossed the line, that signals that the last lap has started, and we will be able to go racing. Only 2 drivers out on the track now. That is Smith and Ellis. And they'll be looking to end their laps. See if we can get onto this race. We currently have in the booth with us Adam Lyle. I assume that's going to be for our pole position little chat. Adam, welcome.
Hello.
How's the track? How's the lap?
Yeah, that was. I think that's everything that car's got, and I think I hit it last lap that I did. So perfect timing as well.
Right. So this track, final lap that you did, best lap there. Last week out, you did Portimao, storming race number 1. Do you think it's going to be the same for today, or is it going to be a little bit of a different story?
It's going to be completely different this week. Yeah, I'm not going to get into some reasons why, but yeah, it's definitely going to be different.
Well, I mean, it's going to be different as well because you have 2 drivers, very fast drivers here, right behind you. One of those is William Johnson. William, how's it looking for you today?
I told you I like this track. It's going pretty well. Adam did just beat me, 7,000ths on it. Fair, good lap by him. I thought I had it. But yeah, it's looking very good for tonight.
Right, so predictions from you guys as well. Maybe Les Bradford. Maybe some predictions. You're starting on the second row, 3rd place. An ideal view of the battle in front. Is there any chance you can get out in first?
I think it's a game of being best of the rest. I think it'll be watch Adam disappear off like it was last week, and I think William will be following him. And
Of
for
course,
me, it's
you
just
guys,
try and keep Potter behind.
Of course, you have 2 opportunities here, race 1 and then the reverse grid for race 2. So I wish the 3 of you all the best for the race. Good luck on preparing for those final few seconds on the grid. And hopefully, I beg of you, don't crash in turn 1.
Yeah.
Right, good luck, fellas.
Thank you.
All right, so with those little pre-race talks out of the way, we can get ready for the grid. The driver's currently poised in the pit lane, waiting to go out, waiting to get to the grid, making their final changes to their setups. They are allowed to do this, and they are not allowed to change their setups between the 2 races. So it's a race 1 straight up to race 2, and your setup will be locked for the second race. So if you have any mistakes, any problems that you find during that first race, that is something that you can't really adjust anymore when going to race number 2. We've got a 5-minute countdown before we start our first race. We have our drivers here lined up. Adam Lyle on pole position in the Elantra, and that is a beautiful car to be out in front. The number 1 on position number 1. And he'll be standing here right next to William Johnson. And Johnson will be getting ready to take a little look left, right, or center to get past Adam Lyle. But he'll have to keep an eye out because this is Les Bradford in 3rd place in the Hyundai right behind him, trying to take some place away as well. Potter in 4th place in another Hyundai. It's looking pretty feisty here. A beautiful car that is, the 38 from the looks of it, on his way on that second row. In the 3rd row, we have Riley, new entry that we haven't seen this week out, or haven't seen last week, so first time out this week. And behind Riley, we have Ollie Hutton in the Elantra in 6th place, trying to make his way through as well here in the 22 car. Right behind him, you can see him in the background, that is Ben ARS He has been storming through the grid last week at Portimao. See if he can do the same thing out here. Right behind him is Andrew Bailey, the Lincoln Co. It's a pretty fast car. We saw it do a few things. Actually, it's not in the Lincoln Co. That is looks to be the Civic. That means that my telemetry might be off. This is Ollie Smith, actually, in the 999 car. So you can see here, that is going to be P10. And behind Smith, we have the number 44. That is Noah Bantz. That means that my telemetry is severely mistaken. And this is Bantz in the Elantra. Also quite quick in the midfield, like we saw last week out. Number 44. Just trying to make some double team happening. This is the 27 car. The 27 that should belong to Vickers. And he's poised up on my screen in 11th, but you never know. Rene Young right behind in the number 7. That should be 12th place to Young. He was in the front field in race number 2. Fought there pretty hard and did some pretty good stuff up there. Ellis here in the number 24 car in the Cupra, followed by the number 33. Oh, actually, that is the last car on the track. This is the driver that is following him. That's Leo Dixon. That should be in the Cupra. That is not Dixon. That's Looting. My telemetry is severely messed up. But the one thing we know for sure is that this number 1 car is Adam Lyle. Currently on pole position. Had a stormer of a race last week in race 1. Had a little bit of an incident in race 2, didn't make it into the points, but should be able to do something here today at Vallelunga. It's a long run into the first braking zone. We have a few small corners, slight bends from turn 1 into the first braking zone. That's a very long run to lose time if you make a mistake on the start. So we're hoping for Lyle that he gets the runoff properly, and we're hoping for Johnson behind him to do the exact same thing so they can battle from start to end on side-by-side action onto turn number 1. Currently air temperatures of 21 degrees Celsius, track temperatures of 28 degrees Celsius. It's nice and toasty out there in Italy. That means the drivers will not have any trouble of getting their tires up to temperatures. And that should all be in favor of the drivers, so they'll be happy little dancers in those cars. So turn 1, not really that much of an interesting point. It will be our first, well, turn 1 is going to be the bend to the left, then we have a bend to the right, another one to the left, and then we get to our first big braking zone in turn 4, which is still a medium speed corner. The drivers should be able to take that quite nicely into 5, and then we have one more big braking zone into a similar corner, and after that we go into the slow speed where we can expect a lot of action. The drivers are revving their cars as they are setting up for this race. The lights should be turned on in just a few seconds time as the countdown has ended and the drivers are a go. That is Adam Lyle away first, and we have Johnson alongside, and that is 3 wide. That is not Johnson anymore. That looks to be Bradford going way through. That's Johnson here in 4th place. Bradford in 3rd, fighting with Potter, and that is Bradford on the side, flipped over into the grass, and he's going to be out of the race. That is no way you can flip that one back up the right side. That's Bradford all the way back, and he should be out of this race. Adam Lyle back out in front. He's gonna be a little bit happier to gain this position in first. Potter in 2nd place. Very good start from him. Johnson following right behind as Riley is now going off. That is, I think it's not Riley. That was Noah Batts who fell off a little bit as they went off the track. No, that's not Noah Batts. That is his teammate. We have Ollie Hutton here in 5th position. The numbers are one off because of the broadcast car that is still being counted as position number 1. That is not position number 1, so that means that we have Lyle, Potter, Johnson in the top 3, and Riley 4th. Ollie Hutton in 5th place. After that, we have Ben ARS, Noah Batts, and Andrew Bailey, followed by Jacob Ellis. At the end of lap 1, pretty eventful here, with Les Bradford having an incident and sending him all the way to the back into the pit lane. And Lyle out in first place with lap 1 completed. These are the bends that the drivers really don't have too much say in terms of braking and overtaking potential. And here we get to the first braking zone, a long right-hander. It's basically 2 corners, but they count it as 1. We had a few drivers going off the track, but they appear to be back on, and everyone the right way. Bat's looking a little bit towards the inside here on Ben ARS, who's going slightly defensive. See if Bats can dance with those pedals a little bit. As you can see in the bottom right hand side of the screen, that's a very beautiful graphic on the onboard. The driver's exactly seeing what they're doing as Lyle takes away. Potter is happy to be in second. Johnson said he enjoyed this track, but he went from second place down to third. And that's not by Bradford, who started third, no, that's by Potter, who started a little bit further back. Smith and Ellis now close together in this slow speed section. The arena of Vallelunga, very wide there for Ellis. Gets it way on the outside again to defend from Smith. And remember, this 10th place is an important position, because if you are in 10th place, you will start on pole position for race number 2. That's a place that the drivers will be fighting about somewhere towards the back half of the race. Fastest lap here for Adam Lyle, who's taken 3 purple sectors and then back out for a fastest lap. That's about 4/10 quicker than what anyone else is doing currently on the track. So he's from the first place on the grid to the first place on the track. Potter behind, doing a respectable job of keeping up the pace. Johnson behind as well, almost on exactly the same pace as Potter. So they will be close fighting later on. Currently Luding and Dixon for 14th place, swapping around back and forth. Luding currently ahead in the number 75 car. And Cupra ahead of the Lincoln Co in 15th place. Not close enough to try for an overtake. I'll have to wait a bit. Someone who is close is Bailey. On the right side onto the apex. Not close enough. Those got Ellis behind, so he has to be careful. This is a small train from Bats down to Smith. These 4 cars all in a battle for 7th place. Lots of points on the board now, splitting up into 2 fights. Bats and Bailey dropping Ellis and Smith behind a tiny bit, but all this fighting does slow them down. So the gap ahead to Ben ARS in 6th place is increasing. Bailey looking for a place here as they're heading on to their 4th lap. Ellis with a good exit. Left Smith behind for a tiny bit now, looking ahead, sniffing some motor oil from Bailey. As we have a fastest lap there for William Johnson, setting the pace now behind Potter as they're both gaining on Lyle. And Bats and Bailey are looking very close now as they're heading onto the first big braking zone of the race. Bailey not going for it, decided to stay back for a moment, looking for a better opportunity as they possibly head into that slower speed section of the track. That might just be the place where he's going to try and send it. That's super close for Bailey. Is he going to do anything? There's the look towards the inside. Bats still ahead. Bailey alongside. And that is a very good send there. No still in for Bats as we're going to the left-hander. That should be another defending send from Bats trying to reclaim that position. It's very deep. Bailey taps him. That's Bats backwards on the track. Bailey lost some positions. That's Ellis through, Smith through, and Young trying to make his way through as well. Bats now backwards on the track. Has to rejoin, is rejoining in 15th and last of the current running drivers with Bradford in 16th. I remember points are being given for the top 15s. That means everyone besides Bradford will get some points. Bradford will have a race number 2 as a little redemption round. So Ellis going away unscathed. Does have Smith on his inside for the last turn off the track. That's a bit deep there for Ellis. See if he can get a good run out of that final turn. Get a little bit of a slipstream and repass for position number 7. I know we might be tired of the repasses after Formula 1, but we might see one happening right here. With Ollie Smith taking the place in 7th and Ellis in 8th. Now behind has got Bailey to worry about as well. And Bailey looking towards the inside. Is going to be 3 wide. It might not be, but it might just be Bailey that breaks just in time to keep it behind Ellis. And that was super close between the 3. We're on board with Ellis in the middle of this fight. Smith ahead, Bailey behind. A little look towards the inside. Doesn't get defended too hard, just a tiny bit there. Ellis gets sent a little bit deep. Small tap there with Bailey behind. Just a little nudge. Throws him off the track a tiny bit. Saves Smith the pressure. Now it's a 2-way fight with Ellis and Bailey. If Smith can run away with this. Very wide on the exit. Does keep it on the track. And these 3 now. Ellis looking for something. He was too far back to even try. Here we are further up the road with Ben ARS right behind Ollie Hutton. He's now sat in 5th place. Trying to keep that position. So Ben ARS on that last lap. 140.3. Ollie Hutton a 140.5. It's also a little bit there. As Lyle just puts in the fastest lap as a response. Because Potter has been gaining quite a bit over these last few laps. Gap's gone down by about half a second. So we do have a temporary swap for position. That might just be the timing tower playing up as we go across that start-finish line with Bailey just behind Ellis. Has been aggressively looking. And that is Ellis with the defensive line taken into the first big braking zone. That's turn 4. And Bailey having to stick behind, no space to go. Smith slowly being pulled back into this fight. Young behind, not capable of joining just yet. Oh, a bit deep for Bailey as well. Possibly just a different line to take to try and upset the cars ahead. Small touch with Smith and Ellis up ahead as the gaps are shrinking. There they are on the front of your screen. Now the 3 of them still going. Vickers behind Madhouse. Going through the same section, having a pretty good view. Lyle here. He's got 2 cars in his rear view mirror. But they're not close enough yet to do anything. Johnson's fallen off a little bit. He said he enjoyed this track. He mentioned that last week. He mentioned it just now again with himself grabbing that 2nd place on the starting grid. But he's not been happy just yet. Sitting in 3rd place. Not being able to catch the car ahead. 367 still in 3rd place as Potter puts in the time and tries to appeal to the race lead of Lyle. Currently looking at Bailey, the closest gap to Ellis that he had since a few laps. That means that Ellis will have to go defensive into turn 4. And he has been doing that for a while. Let's see if he has the space to do so. His defenses generally exist because he's just taking a skewed line, if that is what we can call that. He's just turning his car a little bit towards the apex as soon as he starts braking, which is not considered moving under braking. There it is again. Oh, and that sends it in deep contact with Smith. Gonna slow both of them down. Bailey not close enough to take advantage of that, but definitely close enough to put some more pressure on it. Let's see if Ellis does it again. He does not. Bailey does so. Pushes towards the inside. The championship is called Trading Paint, and they have just done that. Ellis receiving a small tap from Bailey. It's on the same thing as Ellis did with Smith. All this fighting has pulled Young back into this fight. It's now a 4-way battle for 7th place. And as I mentioned, we can see Ellis's defensive tactics in turn 4, probably once again. That's just turning the wheel over before you start braking to make sure that you get a defensive position in the corner without sacrificing too much and without moving under braking as you would be moving before braking. So that really doesn't break any rules. And I can assure you that is the case. I've done this plenty of times. I've been reported for it plenty of times, but nothing's happened ultimately because, well, keep your steering wheel straight when you're braking. So that's completely legal. Potter here, still with the fastest lap, has gained a tiny bit, almost an equal pace with Lyle in first. He's been looking to close the gap and gain the lead of the race as we are currently in the halfway mark of the race. So 7 laps done, almost done with number 8. That means we should be seeing 16 laps in total. Oh, there's the send from Bailey onto Ellis in the slow speed section. Ellis getting away with that pretty neatly as Bailey just sent it a little bit too far. Now he's got Young all over the rear. Unable to make a pass anywhere. And Smith being able to pull away from this. These three are now fighting. That's a sausage curve with a tap to the rear from Young. That's going to lose Bailey a lot of time. And we saw what happened with Bradford when he tried to race with less than 4 wheels on the track. Generally does not end well. And Potter getting closer and closer to Lyle now. So they're heading towards turn 4. Let's see if something spicy happens. Small little moments of wheel spin from Lyle. He's not been on his best. Pole position by 0.07 of a second. He's now on his way to claim victory in race 1. Repeat what he did last week in our warm-up round. And there's the send from Potter. Not close enough to get close to the rear of Lyle. So he'll have to try again somewhere else. But that was a little look. Maybe to put some pressure on Lyle. Because this is definitely a different tactic. Different approach towards the corners. So we are on board with Potter. You can see him look. He's going to be menacing in those mirrors. And the gap has shrunk. The pressure getting to Lyle. There it is. Another look towards the inside. As the gap is shrinking and shrinking. The next corner, they can have a possible opportunity. The last one, which is a mid-speed corner. I don't think Potter's going to send anything there, but he will have a chance in turn 4 if he does get close enough. That's what we saw with Smith, Ellis, and Bailey as well a while back. And this is it. 2 and a bit tenths between our top 2. Will there be a swap for position for the race lead for the first time in a race 1? Only one more moment before, and that is Potter with a small slide. Catches it on the outside from the defensive Lyle. He's now going to be wary of Johnson, who said he was happy with the track. Shows that he is. So the gap that Potter has shrunk to Lyle is one that Johnson has also kind of eaten away at. And there's another look by Potter. He's got to be very careful now because one mistaken send will lose him another position. That's Lyle a bit wide, and Potter with the better traction will be side by side. The inside taken by Lyle. Potter now looking to be defensive as well because Johnson is right there on the inside. Doesn't have the traction to fight with these two properly. But Lyle looking defensive on every single corner they go into. That means he is under threat. He feels pressured and he does need to defend. And our podium sitters are going to be fighting for those positions. The gap down to Riley, 4.5 seconds. A bit too far to do anything. Even while fighting, these three are a tiny bit quicker. And that's absolutely amazing to see how they're following in tandem. Final corner now, and on to turn 4 in one straight line. A bit misleading, but I don't see any point in braking for turn 1 or 2 or 3. And it's Johnson now with the closest gap to Potter ahead. We'll be grabbing that slipstream all the way through. You can see the telemetry. They're full gas through turn 2, full gas through turn 3. And now it's a look. There's Potter defensive. That's not offensive. That's pure defense, trying to leave Johnson behind him. The defensive move working. He's got so much to lose here with Lyle ahead and Johnson behind. He's the one who has the most pressure. It's not Lyle who can lose the victory here. No, it's Potter who can either gain something or lose something. If he loses the position to Johnson, he might just lose the win as well, because that is the position that he will be looking at to secure with this fight with Lyle. 7 minutes remaining on the clock. 10 laps done, which means we have about 7 more to go. With our 25 minutes plus 1. They have some time to still recuperate, figure out what is going on. Might be 6 laps. So that's Bailey doing a similar move that he's done quite a few times now on Ellis. And Ellis not really phased, takes the hit like a champ and keeps on driving. Young behind, a little bit fed up with all of this as well. Has been stuck behind this pair for about 5 laps now. Ever since Smith left. That's Young finally going for the send. Bailey having to brake very hard because of Ellis parking it on the apex, or on the exit I should say, as Young tried to go for the apex. And these three also still fighting. Well, it's almost like a duplicate of what we're seeing in our top 3 that we're looking at right now. Lyle back again on the left side. We'll be going back. That's Potter going very deep. That's a moving from Lyle. Pretty sure that Potter's not going to be happy with that. If it's within the rules, the stewards will decide. Johnson will be very happy with this, because he has the best run on any car that he's had this entire race, and it will be for the race lead. It will be Lyle to defend the right-hand side of the track. And he will be holding on to the race lead. Johnson is inching closer and closer. Another defensive line taken by Lyle. Going on the apex. With Johnson holding that fastest lap, showing his pace, showing how happy he is with the track selection. Putting the pressure on, making Lyle work for this position. It's not as free as it was last week out. And Lyle will have to be a little bit careful. Same goes for Potter now. This might be the reason for them dropping back a bit. That the Elantra, being a tiny bit more powerful, has been given some ballast. And that ballast will put a little bit more stress on the tires throughout this race. Whereas the 25 minutes might just take its toll and lose a tiny bit of performance. Potter not showing it though, as he is regaining some time on Johnson. Because Lyle and Potter are both in the Elantra and Johnson is in the Cupra. That's Lyle towards the inside. That's Potter off onto the grass, completely missing his braking point. Luckily deciding to go off earlier than Lyle decided to drive into it. This is now side by side. Lyle for the race lead with Johnson on his outside. And Lyle pushing him further towards the outside, trying to take the best line possible. Johnson being pushed out once more. Does not get the position. Lyle doing a great job of keeping that. That's Johnson towards the inside, making contact with Lyle. Both cars going off, allowing Potter to get back in. This is Hutton and Riley right behind, also fighting for 4th place. This gap of about 4.5 seconds now closed down by 3 seconds. And Potter now through on Johnson, who makes another little tap to the rear, which sends Potter on. Leaves Johnson behind, and now Hutton is able to look at that third place. Johnson, the driver that was so happy with this track, is now probably not so happy that he has another contender in his mirrors, and it is Ollie Hutton. He has shown the pace, currently in 4th position, and looking to make short work of Johnson. The problem is that Hutton is also in this Elantra car, with a Lincoln Go behind him and a Cupra ahead of him. Might be a little bit of a difference in what we have available to us. Ben ARS in 6th place, also joining in the Audi RS3. Should be closing in on this fight. It's not happening just yet, but Potter in 2nd place, still looking at Lyle in these closing stages of the race. We've got about 2 laps remaining. 3 maybe. I think 3 laps after this. So that means that there is still some room to do something with the top 5 currently within a second, top 6 currently within a second. As Young is now looking at the rear of Bailey. And this is the fight for 8th place. Bailey a tiny bit next to the apex. Young does touch that red and white curb just barely. Both drivers going to their limits in these final few corners of the racetrack. It's very close between the two. We don't have that much time left, so Young has to send it somewhere. Young is in that Elantra, so he does have a tiny bit of a ballast, a tiny bit of a disadvantage compared to Bailey's Lincoln Co. Currently in 8th place. We'll be holding on to that at least for now. Gap ahead 5 seconds to Smith after that little incident that we had earlier on in the race with Ellis. And these 4 still in 7th to 10th. And right now looking at the 5-way fight for the lead of the race. Lyle a little bit deep, opening up the door for Potter, who doesn't get the position but does close the gap a tiny bit more. The question is now, will they get to the finish line before the clock strikes 0? I think they might. And these 3 have been at it since halfway through the race. Lyle doesn't go defensive enough. Potter sends it towards the inside, touches the inside of Lyle. Makes contact, loses some grip, and that's Johnson trying to attack from this mistake. Doesn't get too much space to do so. With Potter not accelerating out of the corners. Johnson's a little bit stuck, has his nose on the inside, should be giving the room. A small tap to the side of Potter's car, and there's Hutton trying to make through. Doesn't work out either, as Potter is now going extremely defensive, trying to keep Johnson behind him. Lyle is zipping through. The white flag is out, which means we've got 1 more lap to go, and it cannot be tighter than this. Lyle running away with it for now, and Johnson just taking away the space. This is a view from Hutton, a front row seat to this fight for 2nd place, maybe even for 1st. If Lyle does end up making 1 slight mistake, he is back into the fight. Potter in 3rd place, trying to chase down Johnson, trying to reclaim that position. But Hutton has to be wary because Riley behind is also doing his best to try and take a position away. This is all from maximum points. As Lyle out in 1st and Johnson in 2nd place. Lyle trying to break the slipstream, keeping that pole position. He said it wasn't going to be as easy as last week out, and he's showing it. He's making slight mistakes. Same goes for Potter. There we have Ollie Hutton on the inside, trying to reclaim, or trying to claim that 3rd position. Doesn't go for it just yet. Lyle on the inside now on this final lap of the race. Johnson reaches the rear, but doesn't go any further than that. Same goes for Hutton, as Potter just stays ahead for these final few corners. 5 turns to go. Lyle back again towards the inside completely. blocking off anything that Johnson can do. Same goes on the exit, trying to hold on to the inside line, the defensive line every single time, and Johnson's running out of room. He's got 3 corners to do it. He is on the bumpers. Any places of time, then it would be now. One more turn for Johnson to make the move. Lyle should be going towards the inside. He does so. A small tap with the car of Johnson. He's going to take the optimal line, trying to see if he can do the up and under, but he can't. It's Lyle, just a tiny bit ahead. Potter stays behind, and this is the finishing order. Adam Lyle wins race number 1 with Johnson in 2nd, Potter in 3rd, Hutton in 4th, and Riley in 5th, Ben ARS in 6th. That is all in quick succession. That is, I think, 6 cars within 3 seconds. Ollie Smith in 7th place. We have Bailey and Young still fighting. Bailey will take home 8th place with Young in 9th. Ellis dropped back a little bit further, gets 10th place. Madhouse in 11th, secured. Looting in 12th. Noah Bats in 13th. Vickers and Dixon a little bit further behind will take home 14th and 15th respectively. And Les Bradford with our flip in the first lap will be sat in the pit lane. That means that Ellis will take pole position for race number 2, and Adam Lyle will be sent back to 10th place. And Adam, not as easy as last week. The victory nonetheless, but you fought very hard for it. Congratulations on the win for race 1. How brown are the pants?
No, not really. I knew it was coming. Obviously, with the extra weight that's been added on the car, it's completely destroyed it. So I knew that it couldn't get anywhere near sort of past halfway without doing any good.
Well, there was lots of fighting behind you, though. You were looking very defensive there for the first time. We got to see your defensive moves this race, so it was a joy to watch. How much actually is the grip drop off for the Elantra?
It's terrible. About
Oh, I forgot a box.
halfway through that, completely destroyed.
Yeah, the Elantra sucks for tire.
Yeah, I believe Johnson here was on the... Johnson was in the Cupra. Potter, you were in 3rd place, I believe.
Yeah.
You were fighting with Johnson a bit. Johnson looking at the rear bumper of Lyle. I think you can actually just remember the taste of it by the end of the race now. I think you 3 all had a pretty good fight, especially you, Potter and Johnson. How was that run for 2nd place and some touching as well?
Yeah, just better ribbons racing. I was hoping to get P1 after a good getaway, but it was an incredible battle between the 3, and then eventually I think it was 5 of us.
Yeah, I believe the top 6 all finished within, I think, 2.5 or 3 seconds, which is quite ridiculous if you ask me. You guys did an insane job of keeping it there. It's going to be Lyle on 10th place. And then I think Johnson, you're going to be sat in 9th with Potter in 8th. Just run me through what are going to be the odds for the next race. You guys had some pace. You guys were out in front. There were some guys behind you that are now going to be in front of you that have quite similar pace, especially if you guys are battling. What's going to be the prospects for race number 2?
Well, I reckon we can get close to a podium. Podium would obviously be nice. Just gotta hope we don't fight each other and put each other in a wall.
I mean, you can fight each other all you want. I think that makes for some great racing. I really enjoyed watching all of this. But putting each other in the wall is something that we don't like. Just want to ask real quick. I don't know if you guys were in proximity too much, or if you guys saw anything happen. But Les Bradford, I saw him upside down in the gravel. Were you guys close? Was one of you responsible by any chance?
I wasn't responsible. We were going through the double right. He hit the curb, started going, and then my roof hit his wheel, and he went flying.
Yeah, I just see it in my mirrors, and I was having a little chuckle to myself, thinking that's one gone.
Yeah, Adam, you were out in front. Was a very good start there, and I was just trying to keep track of who was who and who was where, and all of a sudden, Bradford upside down. Absolute malice in the first lap. Luckily for you 3, you all went through. Hopefully, the same thing does not happen for race number 2. We have a few minutes more before we start. Any strategy changes that we might see? Some lines being taken differently compared to race 1?
Well, for me, it's probably going to be trying to work with Adam to get away from William and Cooper, because that's got some amazing tyres. But well, hoping I'm starting ahead of the 2, so hopefully I can carve my way through the pack and may get stuck behind people battling.
Yeah, I think that is a very good strategy. Just trying to put other cars in the way of your competitors to see if that works. I hope it works for you guys. So good luck on race number 2. Hopefully we'll see at least one of you back here for the interviews for race 2. That would be very nice. So yeah, good luck, and yeah, we'll see you in a few moments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with the interviews concluded, we have another few minutes before we start race number 2. We do have some grid being formed right now. The drivers are getting ready to go onto the track. And as you heard the drivers speak, it's a difficult race, a difficult track at times. And the curbs being one of the problems. We saw that a little bit halfway through the race. I think it was a midfield pack fight where a driver just went on 2 wheels and started flying a tiny bit. And luckily got back on 4 wheels. But the same cannot be said for Bradford. We'll be starting all the way in the back now from the 16th place. And he's got some work to do. Had a very good qualifying. And maybe to update, because we didn't really have a qualifying session. So the qualifying session is in the 12 hours leading up to the race. So you basically have from the morning, 7:30 a.m. to the evening, 7:30 p.m. to set your lap time. And that one will be used for the race, as we are currently looking at our pole position. That's the number 24 car of Jacob Ellis, finishing in 10th, right in front of Young, who has the number 7 car in 2nd place. And he should be right in front of Bailey, who's going to be starting on that 2nd row. And that will be right ahead of the 999 car of Ollie Smith. Behind that, we have Ben ARS on our 3rd row in 5th place. And behind him, we have Riley starting right in front and finishing right behind Ollie Hutton. Behind him, we have our 3rd place finisher, Thomas Potter, ahead of William Johnson, ahead of our 10th place sitter here, Adam Lyle, winner of race number 1. After that, we are continuing with the finishing order. It will be Madhouse starting in 11th place in the number 33 car. Max Luding right behind him in 12th. Noah Batts did not get to perform in race 1. Will try again in race number 2 ahead of Stuart Vickers in 14th place. Dixon and Bradford make up the final row in 15th and 16th, respectively. Maybe Bradford is just looking to gain a little bit more laps than he did in race number 1. And I think beating half should not be that big of an issue. So race 2, starting in a minute and a half. We'll be counting down with Ellis out in first, who was fighting for, I think, the majority of the race. So it will be very exciting to see what he can do in race number 2 from pole position with Young right behind him. It's all up to the start. As we saw with Lyle getting away from P1. Did a great job of getting that reaction time down, making sure he can get ahead of Bradford, who will be in 2nd place. And of course, we have Italy now at Vallelunga in race number 1. That does mean that with race number 1, there also comes race number 2, and all the way down a little bit further. So next week we have a small break. After that, we are going to Hungary for the Hungaroring, Week after that will be Uruguay, El Pinar, and then the Portugal race at Portimao will be after that. So we've moved that one up, and then we'll finish the season at Australia in Bathurst, and the final race will be at the Macau track. Those final two have a little bit of a different format. Instead of the laps, we have it just timed. So that will not be on laps, that will be on time. So, the drivers currently revving their cars, trying to get the cars ready for race 2. So we are counting down for the start. It's Ellis out in front, Young in second place on the right-hand side of your screen. And they are off for race number 2. 25 minutes. Good start from Ellis. Of course, has the inside line. Young doesn't get too far alongside for turn 2. Some shuffling in the midfield. ARS getting up. Hutton going up. That's Potter dropping down the order. Currently in 12th place. That's a car backwards. That's Vickers in 16th place. Ellis holds on to first place. Young right behind. Bailey in 3rd place. Hutton in 4th now. Johnson's up to 7th. Bradford all the way up to 9th place. Potter's gone back. Lyle's gone back. That's a great start from Bradford, and Dixon is now up to 9th and 10th respectively. Johnson now 6th place across. ARS now following Smith through, but having some difficulties with ARS trying to take away that position, but it will be the left-hander coming up soon, and Johnson should have that position to himself. That is 6th place from that 9th place. And Dixon a big send on Potter now, who's been tumbling down the order, currently in 11th place. Back up to 10th and now fighting for that spot. Johnson fighting with Bailey, who's having a little look on Smith as well. So Bailey now down to 6th. Johnson making an appearance. He said he enjoyed the track, and he's showing it for sure. Johnson looking at Smith. Bradford coming through now up to 8th place. The fight for the lead still going on. Young in 2nd. Followed by Hutton quite closely. Lyle now through on Dixon. Lyle and Potter not having the best start here. Johnston leaving the two of them behind. Ollie Hutton in 3rd place. Was looking at this in the previous race. Now looks at it again. This time it is Young who has that position instead of Potter, who had it in race number 1. Braking zone coming up now. Hutton having a little look, goes for the send a little bit. And he almost gets it though. Young a little bit through, and Vickers getting a stop go. 10 seconds for speeding as he goes into the pit lane. So he should be getting another stop for that soon. Also has some crashes with the pit lane, so I assume he has some more difficulty. As Potter now gaining some more places. Madhouse and Lyle right behind him. Madhouse losing not 1 but 2 spots to our 2 podium sitters. Our 3rd podium sitter is currently fighting for 4th place. And this is Smith on the inside. Johnson steaming on past. ARS now on Bailey as well. And it's almost like they're revigorated for this 2nd race. Same goes for Ben, who's done a great job of getting through. There's some more contact. I believe that's Bradford trying to send it on into Bailey as well. Bradford now showing exactly what he can do, the thing that he couldn't show in race 1. Now up to 7th place. Ollie Hutton now past Young for 2nd place, with this fight in the midfield getting really tense here with ARS, Bailey and Bradford in that order. ARS doing a great job of fighting here, while Bradford is left scrambling, looking for a space to go. He's got Potter behind him, who's got Lyle right behind him as well. It is getting super, super close. Johnson in the background there, looking at a position on Young for 3rd place, trying to reclaim another podium position. He will stick behind for now. That's Potter having a look. Bradford going very defensively, has to go back towards the outside. That opens it up for Lyle. So having a little look, still on the inside, might just reclaim that position, and does so. But the nose of Bradford is still there, and there it's gone. Lyle up to 9th place, got the fastest lap on that previous lap. That's a 1.5 feet now. Potter looking for something. It has to go defensive. That's Lyle off, and Bradford with contact. in turn number 7. Lyle now stationary on the right-hand side. Race 2 is not his. Currently stalled up on the side of the track, trying to see if he can get the car turned. Don't think he can, and he's still stationary. And he might just be cursed for our second races as he cannot get it going, and he's off the track and out of this race. Ben now in the middle of a pack. Young in 4th place. Smith behind Ben ARS, then Bailey, and then Potter, who are currently fighting side by side. And that will be for 7th position. Potter in the green car. Bailey trying to move him towards the outside. A little bit of paint trading being done by these two drivers. Some more taps there by Potter, who's trying to send it towards the inside. Bailey braking a bit later, might just have put himself in trouble. Potter is claiming the inside line. Bailey has got the traction, does get past, and does stay there further up ahead. It's Young and Smith side by side, almost across the finish line. And Smith currently behind Young for 4th place. This fighting is allowing Johnson and Hutton to go away. And Ellis, most importantly, to pull away with the lead. Still, that's Young off. Smith towards the inside. Ben towards the inside. And Smith now in 4th position, with Young dropping down to 6th after a small mistake in the 4-5 combination. Unfortunate stuff. But that means that 2 drivers can get some more points. That's Potter, too deep in the corner. And it goes from bad to worse for Rene Young, as he is tumbling down the order, currently 11th place. It's bad. Bradford, Madhouse also go on through. That's Riley. Side by side as well. Madhouse looking at the rear of Potter, who had that send. Bailey being released from his duties of looking at this green car. Now gets to chase down Ben, follow him through to maybe get a look at a podium spot. For that, Smith needs to make some work. It's Bradford trying to show us what he couldn't in race 1. Being very close to the rear of Madhouse. Potter choosing for a wider line. Might be a small mistake as he gets a lot of smoke from those tires. I can indicate one or two things. It's either a lockup or a wheel spin. And both not good for the tires. Though I'd rather have a wheel spin than a lockup, because lockups cause flat spots, and those flat spots can only increase over time. The flat spot on the car tire is essentially what it is. It's a flat part of the car, flat part of the tire. Once you brake and you lock the tires, they don't rotate anymore to brake. Creates a flat spot as Johnson just gives Hutton a little tap there. It goes very deep into turn 7. Does get the position, parks it on the apex. That's P2 for Johnson, who shows that he does not have any flat spots, because that braking capability is absolutely insane. And Johnson, with the Cupra, just happy to get along. But now in 2nd place, trying to reclaim that spot. He's just got to be careful to not get caught in any big battles, because then they'll be stuck in this 3-way fight here. Smith in 4th, Ben and Bailey trailing them. As I was mentioning, the problem with those flat spots, if you get them once, the tires are more likely to stop rotating once you hit one of those flat spots. If the tire's not round anymore, there's a little bump in the tire, which means it's more difficult for the tire to rotate. So put too much pressure on the brakes, and you'll only increase those flat spots. That means that the tire will start to vibrate more and more. You'll feel that in your hands for sure. You'll feel that under braking performance. It's the one thing that you don't want, whereas wheel spin just increases the temperature of the tire and does actually wear it a little bit more, but doesn't cause any flat spots. So it's just a temporary measure to prevent that. That's slowing down a tiny bit. Potter and Ben actually both going very deep on Bailey and Smith respectively. Don't make contact into turn 4, which is very good. So we don't want contact. Ben now looking for one more on Smith, knows that he can do it, but Smith towards the inside. That's Potter very deep once again. Not looking at his braking markers or just choosing the wrong ones, hitting Bailey in the rear. He does recover nicely. Smith having to go defensive here as Ben goes around the outside. Does get his car lined up. That's beautiful traction from the 84 car from Ben ARS. The Audi, I think the only Audi on the track, does get the inside line here and up to 4th place for Ben. Smith being left behind. It's now 5 seconds to Hutton for the podium places. 15 minutes remaining. It is very much still possible. And Ben now fighting still for that position. It's not his that easily, but a bit of a wider line there. Does have to be wary because the slipstream can be quite strong. Same goes for Bailey, who's got 2 cars behind. It's Bradford and Potter. And Potter now in that green car right behind Bailey and trying to snatch away that 6th place. Ooh, it's a curb tap for Bailey, who loses control. Spins a little bit back and forth. Hits the wall. Potter now has to be careful because Bradford is trying to fight his way out. He's being pushed off the track. Potter holds on to the place. As Bailey sent down to 10th. So Potter through Bradford, Madhouse and Bats. Madhouse looking to gain a place on Bradford. Madhouse does get through. It's the Elantra. Can get the car stopped in time, which he can. Now he just needs to keep it on the track. And it is Bradford, the driver, on the outside this time. And Noah Bats very deep as well into that corner. And once again, the traction out of turn 8, quite strong. And Bradford able to position his car towards the inside. Does get past the Madhouse. Bradford up to 7th place from 16th. So we once again have only 1 car out of the race. Lyle has gone back out on track. He has taken a pit stop, but is just back out. Actually, he's in the pits now again, I believe. Yep, there he is. That's Adam Lyle back into the pits. So he hasn't been having the grandest of times today on the race. Here's Jacob Ellis holding on to P1. Currently being chased by Johnson, both in the Cupras. The gap has shrunk significantly. The gap was about 2.5 seconds. It's now half a second. So the previous lap, Johnson reclaiming about a second on Ellis. Hutton in 3rd place also here. I'm getting a tiny bit of deja vu from race number 1, with 3 cars fighting for 1st place. And the big part of the deja vu is the fact that it is Johnson in 2nd place. If it's going to be the same outcome, we don't know. I don't know, I should say. Maybe our broadcast director Peter does. Maybe he knows. Maybe he scripted this. I haven't read the script at all. It does mean that I get to watch this unfold live with you all. As Johnson is currently right behind Ellis. The gap is bigger than it was with Lyle. But then again, it might just be a little bit different fighting. Because Lyle, the driver that put it on pole position, the driver that stayed in 1st for the entirety of the race. It's Ellis who's starting from pole position from 10th place. So that means there is some sort of pace difference between Johnson, who finished in 2nd place on the last race, and Ellis, who finished in 10th. And this might just be a little bit of an easier task, but easier does not mean easy. And Ellis is going to try everything he can to keep the car on the track and ahead of Johnson. If this is going to do anything, it's going to bring Ben closer to this fight. He's there in the background, the grey and red car, the RS3. The Audi on his way now to join this top 3 fight. And leave the cars behind him exactly like that. Behind. Now Potter and Smith fighting for 5th place. And Ben could not be happier with that instance. And Potter moving a little bit off the racing line, off the optimal line. And there's Smith going a bit deep as well. Potter off the track, momentarily losing some more time, and Ben getting closer to that top 3 fight. Still has some ways to go, but we still have 10 minutes to go. So there is still plenty of time. Johnson, once again, looking at the rear of Ellis. This time, just like last time, well, I'm not going to say it, because Hutton just goes off onto the gravel trap for just a moment, and that opens up the gap. I was going to say Johnson has to look behind him once more. That's where Potter was in race 1. He had to look behind him. He had to look where the car behind was positioning himself in order to not lose the lead, but also not lose that 2nd place. Now Johnson has got the gap behind a little bit bigger now, can look in front. As that's Ellis with a small mistake off the track, rejoining right in front of Johnson. You can see in the rearview mirror that Hutton has joined back again. And now Johnson looking at an open room as Ellis closing the door, going back onto the racing line. Will Hutton look for a send? He's going to put his car towards the inside. Doesn't go for a send, but does make himself menacingly big in those mirrors of Johnson. Potter now sends it through on Ben ARS. And Ben trying to retake that, the up and under into turn 7. Doesn't get it completely. Does force Potter to be defensive. The switchback attempt made, but the exit on the outside just a tiny bit too strong. Nothing possible for Ben just now. Still Potter feeling the need to go defensive. A small tap to the rear from Ben onto the car currently positioned in P4. I was going to say the number 4 car, but Potter is the number 38. Not showing up on our telemetry, but it is showing up on the car, grabbing the curb. Luckily, that is in a position where Ben is not able to take advantage of it. The overtake not being made, with the gap in front being increased. Whoa, Ben thinks he's got the pace, very confident, giving every single bit of pace to this car, trying to make it work. It's almost just a stance to the battle for the lead. This is currently for 4th place. Potter ahead of Ben ARS. And that's a deep break. Will that be contact? Yes, it is. Both cars slightly unsettled. Ben letting Potter ahead once again. That rear bumper looks damaged. That tells you the story of this race, of this battle. They're fighting, and they're fighting hard. Of course, this is for quite a few amount of points. But the most points currently in the hands of Ellis, who is holding them, but with only one arm, because the other arm is outstretched into the forehead of Johnson, saying, "You can't grab this. You are being forced to stay behind. These are my points, my 25 points. You get stuck with the little baby points in P2. These are mine." And Johnson swatting his arms, not able to get anything. As he's being flanked by Ellis's brother, not real brother. This is a metaphor of the kids fighting as they do. Hutton currently trying to swat away those points as well. Aiming for Johnson, saying, "Here with those. I need them for my tally." These three still at it, not losing time because of the fight behind, but they are still very much at it. It is Ellis, Johnson, Hutton for our top 3 in the final 6 minutes of the race. 5 more laps to go. And what will it be? What will be the finishing order? We didn't know in the last race either. It was Lyle, then Potter, then Johnson. And it looked like any one of those could switch at any moment, and it's the same case here. Ellis fully defensive now on to turn number 7. Johnson staying in the slipstream a little bit too long. That's Potter getting the double slipstream now towards the outside of the track. He's gained 1 position so far. That is Johnson. Was looking for 2. Johnson fighting back on the inside. Potter Hutton going a little bit wide there. He does hold on to second place for now. Johnson around the outside. Ellis getting a little bit more curb and off the track. It's good traction from Johnson, still side by side, going through turn number 9 and then 10. As we have Ellis still ahead, Johnson on the inside. Hutton back to 3rd place, but a sweeper might just help him out if he can keep his nose in, and he does keep his nose in, pushing Johnson towards the outside. And it's a madness out in front. Ellis can only help but laugh, I think. And the 2 cars scrapping away for that 2nd place. It's Johnson and Hutton, wheel to wheel in the final sector of the track. Lap 12. And it looks like Hutton has just got the place. That's P2 for Ollie Hutton. And Johnson stuck in 3rd. Ellis, a smaller gap, now increased to about 7/10 of a second. Hutton now has to be careful. This is the Elantra. And as we heard Lyle say that the Elantra was horrible on the tire wear, so will Ollie Hutton experience that with Johnson. Looking towards the inside. Even though he's experiencing it, he's not really showing that much of a pace loss. He's doing a fantastic job of keeping Johnson behind him. All the while, Ellis pulling away. And chances of the lead are slipping through their fingers. Ellis's arm is getting longer and pushing them away a little bit further as Johnson miraculously around the outside takes the overtake on Hutton for that 2nd place back. And Ollie Hutton is trying to do whatever he can to get back up there, but maybe the wear just setting in a bit too much. And on lap 13, we have reversed spots for number 2 and number 3. And Johnson took quite a bit of a gap behind him. He should be able to now chase Ellis down and try again for the lead of the race. In the meantime, the midfield has still had some battles going on. The gap's all quite big, except for this one with Bailey in 9th, Madhouse in 10th, Riley right behind in 11th place. This is also a 3-way battle, a little bit lower stakes. Bailey holding 9th place. We're looking at the final turn of the track going into lap number 13. Lap 14, I should say, completing lap 13. As we have 3 more laps to go. Potter here defending from Ben, currently for 4th place. Bradford closing in ever so slightly. In the previous lap, gaining about 0.03 of a second and 1/10 on Potter. So that's 0.03 of a second on Ben and 1/10 on Potter. So they're both getting a tiny bit on that 4th place position. Trying to pull back in towards these podium drivers. Allison Johnson now. Some more aggressive driving. The curbs are being taken. Ellis a bit wide there. Try not to open up the door too much for Johnson, who does have some pressure behind. He's once again in this ridiculously difficult position of having a car ahead you want to overtake and the car behind you want to keep behind. It's Ellis currently in the most advantageous spot in the lead, has the track position, can choose to defend and choose the place on the track. Johnson in the worst position because he has to look out for 2 drivers. Hutton in P3, a little bit in the middle of that in terms of advantage. Of course, if the 2 cars ahead collide, we might see a Mercedes Formula 1 Spain 2016. They have the same livery, they have the same car, and these Cupras very quick around this track. Makes it so difficult. No car advantage between the two either. Not one car that's stronger on the straights or one car that's stronger in the corners. They're both so equal, making it really difficult to get an advantage on the other. Riley now looking at Madhouse for P10. As we have Bailey and Bats for 8th place. Bailey around the outside. Doesn't keep the position, a little bit too deep, a little bit too wide. Has to slot behind, and Noah Bats able to hold on to 8th for now. That's Bailey with another send. Touches some grass there. Bats, a beautiful switchback to reclaim that spot. That's 8th place back in the hands of Noah Bats. See Johnson, offensive or defensive, one can never know. Trying to hold on to that 2nd place and trying to make it first. With the pressure that Hutton is giving him, it will be very, very difficult. The white flag is out. Into the final corner they go. And one more lap until the end of this race. This is the view for Ollie Hutton. P3 in the number 22 Elantra. Looking ahead, the number 367 Cupra and the number 24 Cupra in 2nd and 1st. Johnson and Ellis fighting away, scrapping away, and trading paint, but not positions. It's Ellis who's currently holding on to P1 from pole position. He's withstood the pressure from start to finish. He's got a few more corners to do it. Shouldn't have finished that sentence. This is the commentator's curse. Please do not do anything, Johnson. Stay behind for now or get an honorable overtake. We do not want to see a crash on this final lap. And these 3 drivers having done exceptionally well. Ellis leaves the door open. Johnson doesn't send it. Hutton staying behind as well. Just a few more corners in the slow speed part of the track. It will be difficult. That's Hutton trying to have a little look. That's Johnson being tapped to the side. Having a slow moment there with a small little slide. That's Hutton trying to make his way through. Potter has joined this fight as well. Johnson has the inside still. Will defend here from Hutton, but has a little tap towards Ellis. It's Hutton on through. Ellis going slowly. It's now Johnson being swallowed up by Hutton. And Potter joining in this fight has a little tap as well to the side of the rear of Johnson. It is Ellis, then Hutton, and then Johnson and Potter still fighting for that 3rd place. Johnson holding on for now, but Potter has his nose towards the inside. It's Ellis who will take away P1. It's Hutton who takes P2. And will it be Potter or will it be Johnson? They're side by side as they're going across the line. Who will it be? It will be Potter to take 3rd place and Johnson in 4th. It is miraculously close, but unfortunately Johnson dropping down from 2nd to 4th as Benares takes 5th. Bradford in 6th. 7th place for Smith. Then Bads in 8th. 9th for Bailey. Madhouse in 10th place. And then Riley in 11th, Young 12th, Eluding in 13th place, Dixon in 14th, Lyle in the pits. Same for Vickers, not completing this event. The big boy points go to Ellis, with Hutton claiming that 2nd place and Potter gaining 3rd place. Johnson unfortunately dropping down after looking P1 in the eyes, but not getting any of that. Holy, that was something. If we have to finish off race 1 with anything, this is the way I think I would have wanted race 1 to finish. That means that we go to our interviews. Ellis, welcome to the booth.
Hello. Yes.
Welcome. All 3 of you, by the way. Congratulations on the podium. This was a spicy one, Ellis. I want to, from pole position to 1st. I assume that was not just on happy thoughts, and there might have been some sweat involved.
Oh yeah, a lot of sweat.
So what was the thought process when you saw Johnson behind,
Honestly,
you saw Hutton behind, you saw Potter?
Yeah, my teammate. I was really sweating. It's I honestly didn't think I would keep it that long, if I'm going to be honest. I'm really surprised that I kept it the whole race.
Well, you did, and that's a good job done with the amount of pressure that you had from
Yeah.
behind, which was monumental. Some of that pressure coming from Ollie Hutton. Ollie, congrats on the P2. Surprise final few corners.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was just a case of I had a roadblock in front of me. I kept trying to nibble. Will kept putting up a good fight and was just holding me off of Jacob. And then, yeah, it just got to the last lap, and I was just like, well, I've got Potter behind me chasing me down. He was within a second of me, and I was just, I've got to make a move. So I just got a bit more adventurous. Don't think I got any track limits or anything like that. But got quite close to a few sausages and was very nervous at times. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was a good race.
Yeah, that gap behind shrinking. That gap was from Potter. Surprise for you as well, taking that third place. The gap was about 5 seconds, I believe, to Ollie in third, and then Johnson all of a sudden. I think there was contact involved. Unsure completely who was where anymore. But gaining that third place, how big did you say your chances were when you saw that 5 second gap, and how big did you think your chances were when you saw the three of them fighting literally 2 meters in front of you?
Well, Richard John Neal doesn't call me a flying teapot for nothing, as I definitely put that to word. I was like, come on, keep going. And then I seen Ollie chucking a few moves. I was like, yes, this is just what I needed. Keep doing this. I was like, I didn't think I was going to even come in the top 5, to be honest, after at the end of the first couple laps. And I was like, hang about, I've got a chance here. And I was just like, please keep on battling. And I think I'm going to have to owe you a lot of stuff for this, because that just helped me get a podium, and I believe secured me P1 for if you combine points for race 1 and 2, I think I've just got P1 from that.
Well, you're the only driver to gain a double podium, so I can almost guarantee that. Johnson got second and now fourth. You got third twice. Hold on, I might just do some quick maths. Hold on. We have a second place for 20, fourth place for 13. That means 33 points. 2 third places means 32 points. So you're, I think, 1 point behind Johnson here in the standings, but still, the double podium, that's going to mean something, right?
Yeah, to be honest, well, 1 point's basically nothing anyway, so I think that I can say I got a double podium is pretty incredible, and well, hopefully I'll be able to recreate it for round 2, if I can even get there, actually.
Well, you guys will have about 2 weeks to prepare, and it will be at Hungary, at the Hungaroring. A bit of a more famous track than here at Vallelunga. What's going to be the outlook on that for you three? What's going to be the strategy, and how are you guys going to practice and ready for that race?
Well, for me, I believe I'll be at Silverstone Grand Prix in my Fiesta Junior race and car, so my strategy is focus on Silverstone.
That will definitely be be the way to go. So I would say a lot of luck to you on that race. We should be able to see you in 3 weeks' time then for the next one. Ollie Hutton, what's going to be your outlook for next week or next race in 2 weeks?
Survive. I am not a fan of Hungaroring. It's a difficult one, and I find it a bit tedious myself. But yeah, it'll be interesting for certain. I don't actually know where I am in the points as to where the ballast stacks up for me, but I'm assuming I'm probably around about 5th. So I think I get 10 kilo added to me for the next race. The ballast still definitely brings some interesting moments, because it's definitely looking like a very close field.
And then finally, Ellis from victory in race 2, a chance to repeat that for Hungary.
I really hope so, but I'm gonna put as much practice into the next track as I can. But I'm not gonna do too much, because I did burn myself out on the first race. So I'm just gonna keep it coming.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Congratulations on the podiums from you three. It was a very, very interesting race to watch. You guys have provided a lot of entertainment for the viewers there. So thank you all so much. And hopefully, we'll all see you again sometime soon in the booth. Potter, have fun on your race at Silverstone. We'll see you in 3 weeks' time, and the rest of you, I'll see you again at Hungary in about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
thank you very much
Yeah,
to
thank
you
you
both
so
for
much.
putting on the broadcast. It's certainly going to be one to watch, isn't it?
It sure is, mate. It sure is. Be sure to watch it back because it has been some brown pants moments at times.
Will do.
All right. See you all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, that should conclude everything for our broadcast. We have had our calendar up for a few moments on the broadcast a few seconds ago. We had round 1 at Vallelunga on May 3rd. That is today, and then in 2 weeks' time we have round 2 at the Hungaroring, followed by round 3 at El Pinar in on the 24th of May. After that, Portimao, a rechance, a redo on the 31st of May, and then Bathurst and Macau are our final races. I might have misspoken there a little bit. I mentioned the time and the laps thingy. These races are all on time, so the first 4 rounds are on time, 25 minutes plus 1 lap. The final 2 races are going to be 12 laps and 10 laps respectively. So those will be just 12 laps and just 10 laps. So hopefully we'll get to see you all in the remaining of the races there. That has been all from us, though. So thank you all so much for joining us on the broadcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you can watch our future rounds as well. Remember, next week is a break. In 2 weeks, we'll see you back again. I've been Olaf, aka Wops Racing. You can find me on wopsracing.com. You can find ARS here on the YouTube channel, and you can follow on with those series. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for Peter for doing all the broadcast thingies and all of the race direction and bring you these beautiful trackside pictures. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks.